Hey, what's going on, crypto people? It is your boy, the Crypto Siege, with another day in the life and the crazy life that is the digital asset space. Good morning, happy Wednesday to you. Exciting times right now to be in the digital asset space. I checked this morning and it looks like BTC, Bitcoin, is below 8,000, at least it was this morning, 7,800. Very, very interesting. I saw something, I forget where I saw it. I think it was in a Discord that I'm in, that said that the people from China, all things considered, were dumping a lot of their BTC. I never really thought about that, being that, we all know that BTC mining is controlled in China. So I never really thought about the fact that they might be dumping their BTC. The people there, the retail investors there, the miners there, I don't know. That could be the reason. In fact, I saw only the notification for Alessio Rastani, good TA guy, and he had a thumbnail with him shaking his head and looking, kind of looking down, like, is what's going on. It's just capitulation. Interesting. I didn't watch the video though, but that was an interesting thumbnail that he had there for that. So, perhaps that is the case. Perhaps that is what is going on. XRP is still right there at on Binance. It says 21 cents, but it's probably rounded up. So it's probably still 5 for $1. I know me and Miss Crypto Siege, who is riding along with us this morning, is we got a chance, had a chance to take advantage of that 5 for $1. I said on a video the other day, I'm like, I can't, I can't just widen the portfolio when XRP is 5 for $1. Got to go all in on XRP. So that's what we did. Really, really excited about that, But I tell you, I watched an interesting video from DNI, the Digital Nomad Investor. I guess he was kind of doing a recap of something he must have done a longer video on. But he was, it was just kind of pointing to an article where they were talking about Ripple, the company, and the lobbying that they do and the money that they paid out to, get the company and their digital asset out. People from Congress to Trump and his staff, right, to his executive staff. And for me, it made me think how blessed we are that the project that we back is in a position to do things like that. It is the way of the world. We all know that lobbying and these PACs is just a way of the world to get your message across, to get your project across. And so that's just the real deal. I mean, the article was a little biased. It had a little biased tint to it, but I thought it was interesting. Lots of money, several $100,000, but thank God, right? They're in a position that they can do that, right? They're in a position that they could do that. So I thought that was interesting. D&I did a great job kind of pointing that thing out, but I didn't see the longer video. I wish I would have, but it is the way of the world. But for me, it speaks to, who else has the staff that we have? Who else has the people on the boards that we have? The article mentioned Ron Hammond, who, is part of writing Executive Order 13772, being part of Ripple. I mentioned Craig Phillips, who was the General Counsel, Secretary, the Counsel for Steve Mnuchin, on Ripple, right? So Craig Phillips, massive dude. I think a former BlackRock employee at some point. All of these people, these significant people, important positions, on the board at Ripple, involved with Ripple. And so, so we're blessed. So it's not something that, to hold our head down about, that Ripple's able to do these things in the lobbying front, right, with the PAC. it's really a heads up thing, right? That we're supported by people who can do that, right? So we all know that Ripple's greatest asset is the digital asset XRP. We all know that. Everything that they do, 90% of what they do is to grow that ecosystem, to grow the XRP ecosystem. So that we're able to do that and kind of put that money into it, I think is outstanding, and I'm happy that is the case. I'm happy that is the case. I was watching also on the chain this morning with Jerry Hall. He had Raoul Paul on there, a little short 3-minute one, and I guess it's a longer one to watch as well. But I thought it was interesting that Jerry, Raoul Paul, right? Real Vision, great channel, lots of great interviews about politics, economics, finances from a global perspective. Really, really, really great channel. If you haven't checked it out, it's called Real Vision with Raoul Paul. And Jerry had pointed out the fact that they had, some significant people on there, whether it be Dan Moorhead or Barry Silbert, Mike Novogratz, and they'll talk about digital assets, and they'll talk about BTC, right? Talk about BTC, but he pointed out the fact that those guys have all invested into the company Ripple, but they never talk about XRP, and they won't talk about Ripple unless really asked. Well, they won't talk about XRP. They may mention Ripple, and he said, "Why is that?" Right? And I thought it was interesting, the answer that Raoul Paul gave. I'm not sure I'm buying that one, but maybe it's just really not the interest. But he talked about, you can't learn about them all, right? There's so many that you can't learn about them all. I thought that was interesting. I guess what it is he has so many things kind of going on. I'm not sure how much studying he's doing or diving deep into BTC at all. They may bring it up because it's in the forefront, right? Has first movers advantage to it. But you could tell it's fascinating too, because he knew about the technology about Bitcoin, but he was, he knew about the movement, because I watched the interview that he did with Dan Moorhead about BTC. He was very much engaged. Raoul Paul was. But the answer was, why aren't you talking about XRP? And he said, well, I don't really know much about Ripple. I don't really know much about it. And, he's like, I don't have, I can't study them all. So, I guess I have to study the one that is kind of out there front and center, probably the most popular one. And I thought to myself, here's a smart guy, very successful. And that's probably the case for a lot of these smart guys that are very successful. They just haven't taken the time to learn about the other assets, about the other digital assets. And so these smart, successful guys aren't doing it. You could probably imagine that your boys, your dudes, your friends and family aren't going to take the time to learn more about this space, right? This new asset class that is the digital asset space, right? So interesting that was his answer. Like, no, I can't study them all. And he had mentioned that Raoul Paul, that was beginning to learn more about Ethereum. Isn't that interesting? Isn't it? It's so odd to think where we are, and the fact that we've taken the time, the way that we have, to level up our IQ, right? Our XRP IQ, level up our financial space IQ, and to level up the digital asset space IQ as a whole. And when you think about where we are and what we know, especially if you're an XRP hodler in the XRP community, the stuff that we know and the information that we have, and the ability to be able to dive deep into stuff and to have the community members that we have is absolutely outstanding, and definitely puts us so much far ahead than the vast majority of people in the space, in the digital asset space, much less outside of the digital asset space, right? So interesting. How blessed are we, guys? How blessed are we? So listen, guys, I'm going to wrap up this video like I do all my videos. and remind you of this. Old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather us remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in, where we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating? Or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know. That the battle for you has already been fought. And the victory is yours. Go get it. I'll talk to you soon, guys. See ya. Bye.